Hi everyone, this is Nilay Kumar and I'm your GK mentor. This video is brought to you by your law mentor and we are a very small initiative we have started. You can follow us on Instagram. Our website is www.yourlawmentor.com. All the rest of the details are given on the slide. The purpose of this video is to give you a detailed analysis of the topics which are most probable to be asked in CLAT. Okay, so in this video, we'll be discussing two major topics. First one being the impeachment of Donald Trump, and the second one being the US-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. So the first one is the impeachment of Donald Trump. Before moving on to the actual topic, let's first understand what the word impeachment actually means. Impeachment is a political word. This is not used for any other office. This is used specifically for political positions like the president, the chief justice, the prime minister. Okay, so what happens is when the government itself feels, or you can say the parliament or the upper officials feel that the person holding certain position is not actually working according to it, or you can say kind of misusing his powers or her powers, in that case they can initiate a process of impeachment. This also happens in India as well. So this similar kind of thing happened in US recently, where Donald Trump was actually impeached, but later on he was acquitted and not removed from his office. So Donald Trump is currently the 45th president of USA. He belongs to the Republican Party, and before becoming the president of USA, he was a businessman and a television personality. Also, one of the important thing is that he is the oldest first-term president, which means that when he became the president in 2017, he was the oldest person to get the position of US president. Also, he is the only president of USA who does not have any prior military or government services opportunities, or you can see he has never worked in the government before. In 2016, he defeated Hillary Clinton, who was from the Democratic Party, and he won the elections against her. Now let's discuss the impeachment process in USA. The impeachment process is divided into three parts. Okay, all the three are visible to you on the screen. First one being the investigation, the second one being the impeachment by the House of Representatives, and the third one being the trial by Senate. Now, the US Constitution says that a president shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes or misdemeanors. Okay, in short, when he is not fulfilling his role or maybe misusing his power, he can be impeached. Okay. Now, as you all know that the Parliament of USA is known as Congress, and it has two houses. The lower one being House of Representatives and the upper one being Senate. Okay. Now this impeachment process, which can be initiated by either of the house, this is just a political process and not a criminal one. In this entire video, we may be using the word trial or acquitted, but this does not mean that this is a criminal trial. The result of this impeachment will only lead to the resignation of that person, the resignation of the president from the post of president. Okay, this is not going to put that person behind the bars. So the first one, okay, now to understand this, first you need to know that both the houses of the Congress has its own judiciary committee which conducts the investigation in matters of impeachment. Okay, for example, when Bill Clinton was actually impeached in 1998, the investigation process was started by the Senate Judiciary Committee. But in case of Donald Trump in 2019, the investigation process was started by the House Judiciary Committee. Okay, so it all depends कि कौन सा house unsatisfied है president से. Okay, so in this case, House Judiciary Committee started the process. They started the investigation, they found the relevant evidences, and they went through everything and they prepared a report. After the preparation of such report, the respective judiciary committee is going to conduct a voting. In that voting, they are going to decide whether they're going to pass the report to the lower house, that is the House of Representatives, and ask them to conduct a voting for passing of articles of impeachment against the said position. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Now, if the Judiciary Committee votes by way of majority, then the case comes to the House of Representatives. Now they're going to go through the reports, they're going to have a discussion, all the debates and arguments and everything, and by way of simple majority of the people present at the time of the voting, they are going to conduct a voting whether to pass articles of impeachment or not. Now, the articles of impeachment are simply the accusations on that said person. Okay, it could be either bribery, it could be either not following the orders of the Congress or anything, or you can say any kind of misdemeanor. It could be anything. So now the thing is that impeachment has certain conditions. I mean, on what grounds can the person be impeached? So they are known as articles of impeachment. Now the House of Representatives is going to decide the accusations, that is the articles of impeachment. And according to that, they're going to conduct the voting process in the House of Representatives. After this simple majority voting, the accusation will be decided, and then that case will be transferred to the Senate. Now in Senate, a trial is going to start. Now this is just again, political process, not a criminal process. The trial is going to start. They're going to conduct it properly, like they're going to have all the evidences presented before them. Then they're going to have all the statements and everything. Okay. So all the testaments are going to be presented before the Senate in front of everyone. The Senate, I mean the senators. Okay. An important thing here is that usually the Senate is, just like in India, Rajya Sabha is chaired by the Vice President of India, who is actually the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Similarly, in US also, it is the Senate is chaired by the Vice President of the country. But in case of trial of the president, in case of impeachment trial of the president, it is to be chaired by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of USA. But in case of impeachment of other officials, there is no such provision given in the constitution of the country. Okay, now they're going to conduct the trial, and after that they're going to take a decision by 2/3 majority. Whatever the 2/3 majority says, it will be the decision, either acquitted or convicted. The result will be, if conviction occurs, the result will be the person will be asked to resign from the post. Now let's understand what were the accusations on Donald Trump. Now, these are some of the three important people who are actually related to this case. The first one being on the left-hand side, that is Joe Biden, who was the former Vice President of USA, and he is most probably going to be the Democratic Party presidential candidate for the 2020 presidential race. In the middle one is his son, Hunter Biden, who is not at all related to any kind of politics. He's just a businessman, and he was earlier working for a Ukrainian company. He is no more working for that company. He resigned recently after such accusations. He resigned recently, but earlier he used to work for a Ukrainian-based company. He was not in Ukraine. He just used to work for a Ukrainian-based company. And the right one, we have the Volodymyr Zelensky, who is currently the Prime Minister of Ukraine. Now, the accusations on President Donald Trump is that there was a call between the Prime Minister of Ukraine and the President of USA on 25th July 2019. During that call, the transcripts are available and have been made available to the Senate also as an evidence. It is accused that Donald Trump was threatening Prime Minister of Ukraine, or you can say coercing him to conduct an investigation against Hunter Biden, so the president can find some dirt on him and try to use that information against Joe Biden's presidential election race. Okay, so he was just trying to use the defamation thing against his son and then using that against Joe Biden. Okay, so this actually happened. The threat that President Donald Trump was using, Congress had actually earlier passed a bill to give $400 million military aid to Ukraine so that they can use that money in their military for fighting against Russia. Okay, this was actually what was actually happening behind the curtains. But President Donald Trump had not yet signed that bill. He has the power to stop that military aid. The thing was, he was coercing Zelensky, Prime Minister of Ukraine, on the basis of that if he doesn't conduct the investigation, then he is going to lose the military aid. So this was actually the threat he was using according to the accusations on Trump. Now, the thing is, when the trial was conducted, it was found that the accusations were false, and the thing is, we cannot very clearly say whether it was false or true, but we are going to rely on the reports because the Senate conducted a trial and said that it was false. You should also know that this is definitely politically led movement because the House of Representatives has a majority of Democratic Party candidates, and the Senate has a majority of um, Republican Party candidates. Therefore, actually impeaching, I mean convicting the president, is not an easy process in USA because there's always going to be some kind of majority in the upper house or the lower house, and it will definitely hinder this process of impeachment. So till today, no president has been actually convicted for the charges of impeachment. Okay. In fact, you should know that until now, only 3 presidents have been impeached by the House of Representatives, which means Andrew Johnson in 1868, who was a president, he was um, definitely he was acquitted. Okay, but he was impeached by the lower house. Same with Bill Clinton in 1998 and in 2019 with Donald Trump. All these three have been impeached by the lower house, but in the trial they have been acquitted. Therefore, they were not asked to be removed from their office. Okay, so this has happened so many times. Now let's understand dateline, some of the important dates here. 24th September, the inquiry began. Then on 13th December, the House of Judiciary gave their report and decided to pass the articles of impeachment, followed by the majority of vote on 18th December by the House of Representatives. And on 16th January, the trial began in Senate, which led to the acquittal of Donald Trump on 5th February 2020. An interesting personality here we need to know is Mitt Romney, who is currently the senator of Utah. What happened was he became famous because he voted again. He in the Senate voting against the Donald Trump impeachment process. During that, he voted against the party's wishes. He is actually from the Republican Party, the same party from which Donald Trump is, and instead, definitely being the member of that party, he should have voted in favor of Donald Trump, which means he should have voted for the acquittal of Donald Trump. But instead, he voted in favor of convicting Donald Trump for the past articles of impeachment. Now, this is an interesting thing because this has never happened in the US history ever before, ever. For the first time, someone did this. So Mitt Romney is also an important personality you should remember. Remember his name, and he's a senator from Utah. Utah is one of the 50 states of United States of America. Okay. Also, an important thing is that, moving to the previous slide, as you can see, on 18 December, the House of Representatives voted for the articles of impeachment. You need to know what were the articles of impeachment. There were 2 articles of impeachment that were passed. The first one was abuse of power, and the second one was obstruction of Congress. These are 2 articles of impeachment that were passed. So you should remember this by heart. So this is all for this topic. Let's move on to the next topic, that is the US-Mexico Canada trade agreement. In this, let's begin with this. The US-Mexico-Canada agreement is usually known by the name of USMCA in short, but Canada writes it as CUSMA for obvious reasons, and then MCUSA by Mexico. So it has 3 different names according to the wishes of these 3 countries, but globally it is known as USMCA. Now, this agreement is actually between the United States of America, the Mexican state, and Canada. The United Mexican state, that is Mexico and Canada. And this is a free trade agreement. This was actually signed by all the three countries on 30th September 2018 at the G20 summit in Buenos Aires. Now you should know that G20 summit 2018 in Buenos Aires mein hua tha. And that's where it was signed. Now, this is actually, you can say, a revision of the previous deal. There's a deal known as NAFTA, which was signed in 1994. It is known as the North American Free Trade Agreement. Okay, and therefore, this is, you can say, a new version of the NAFTA deal and is now known as United States Mexico Canada Agreement, USMCA. Okay, the USMCA countries are also called as the Three Amigos as per the 1994 deal, NAFTA deal. Okay. Important thing is that even after the signing in 2018, a revised version of this draft was again signed on 10th December 2019. Okay. So you can say that what USMC is about, it is just a modernized version of the NAFTA deal, and it contains some of the new elements like stringent and enforceable and binding labor. Then we have some environmental aspects also being discussed here, and some of the new industries have also been introduced for the purpose of free trade agreement, for the purpose of free trade between the three countries. Okay. You should know that until now, this has not yet been implemented by the three countries, but till before, so therefore the NAFTA 1994 deal is still effective in these countries. Okay, so unless this new agreement is actually implemented, NAFTA is going to be in effect. It is not going to expire. Okay, this new agreement is also known by the name of NAFTA 2.0. You can say 2.0. Okay. The ratification process, this is an important thing to remember. The ratification process says that this has to be ratified by all the three countries, and once all the three countries ratify it, within 3 months it is going to be implemented. Now you should know that all the three countries have ratified. The first one to ratify was the US government, followed by the Mexican government, and the latest ratification has been done by Canadian government on 13th March 2020. Okay, the lifeline of this agreement is for 16 years right from the day of implementation. Okay, so now we'll talk about some of the industries that have been discussed in this agreement. The first one being the car industry, then followed by the Canada's dairy farms. And you should know that Canada is very famous for its poultry business. Okay, so now after this signing of this agreement, all the three countries will be able to use this Canada's dairy farms. Then the tech companies and online shopping, steel and aluminum suppliers, pharmaceuticals, and the intellectual property rights and protections have also been discussed in this agreement. Okay. So you can say that the USMCA is going to be a great deal for all the three countries once it has been implemented, because the three countries have for a very long time complained that the NAFTA deal of 1994 had a lot of deficiencies and mistakes. So this new agreement is going to, solve those problems as well. And it is going to open the markets to all the farmers and manufacturers of all the three countries, definitely giving a big boom to the economy of these three countries. So this is all. This is all about these two topics. For more details, you can log on to our website www.yourlawmentor.com. This PPT has also been uploaded there, so you can check out the link from there. And in case you have any doubts or you want some kind of strategy discussion, you can contact us. We are the GK Mentors. You can contact us for any kind of guidance at gkmentor.yourlawmentor@gmail.com. Also, this is the Your Law Mentor initiative is not only for GK but for all the subjects that are asked in CLAT and other law entrance examinations. We are there to help you out for the entire law entrance examination. So if you have any kind of doubt, please go to our website and contact the respective mentors. Thank you. Please like this video, comment, and share this video as far as possible. Have a nice day.